What is Talpiot?
So they're an elite IDF training program with the Israeli Defense Force. The best way I can describe this, they operate like a hybrid entity, a blend between the RAND Corporation, the U.S. Green Berets, and DARPA, our version of this high-tech research facility. And they have a dark budget of the CIA. Talpiot is a well-kept secret in Israel, and it's
Talpiot is Israel's DARPA.
Yes, with a militant arm. They actually have individuals who are placed in all aspects of society, both in technology but also in the military. They're considered the most trained, the commandos in the IDF. But these individuals, the reason behind this was that Israel wanted to make sure they had an elite force trained not just to fight, but to think. And they've done it through Talpiot.
What do you know about them?
So today, researching through this, one thing I found was that they recruit deeply from high schools, colleges, and also from the people who are basically going into the IDF. They look for advancements in leadership skills, but also just an acumen from mathematics and physics. Now, Talpiot derives its name actually from a verse of the Bible book, Song of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 4. Thy neck is like the Tower of David, building for an armory, whereupon there hang 1,000 bucklers, all shields of mighty men. Now, in the research I saw today, rabbinic scholars, deriving from commentary, the Talmud,
right.
They claim Talpiot refers to the temple. So they named this elite unit after the temple.
The Talmudic Kabbalah rabbis told the Israeli government that the name of the super secrets research division of Israel, Talpiot, should be named for the temple.
Yes. That has a direct significance here. And it's a tie, again, taking this to the religious angle of Zionism, the one that's the most zealous about the enforcement of that ideology. Now, Talpiot was created in 1979 by two Jewish professors from the University of the Hebrew University, place where Yuval Harari is a professor currently, the man we covered.
Right there in Jerusalem. I drove past it when we were there last year.
Now, the two men is Shaul Yatsev and Felix Dothan. Now, they did this actually after the 1967 Six-Day War, where Israel, they won, but it was close. They lost about 1,000 tanks, had about 3,000 killed, 8,000 wounded, and they lost about a fifth of their air force in that war. They said they didn't want to ever come into this situation ever again. They wanted to put in let's say, an insurance plan. These two actually even quoted the founding father of Israel, David Ben-Gurion, in saying that Israel's military abilities had to be far ahead of its enemies in quality, as it would never be able to match them in quantity. And that's what we're seeing here. That's what you heard Benjamin Netanyahu say. This little Israel cannot even compete with superpowers if it wasn't in a digital space. And that's where they're going with this advancement. Now, there was actually a book written about this. That was only one really good book that could go into the depth of this. So I've taken some quotes from it. It was written by a man by the name of Jason Gurwitz. He's an executive producer at CNBC, the Halftime Report. That's an odd position for somebody writing a book basically on the backgrounds of the most secretive intelligence unit.
No, it's not.
Well, I say odd. What is odd anymore,
No, see, did you say CNBC?
CNBC, yes.
Owned by Comcast.
Well, then that makes a lot more sense.
Right? I mean, yeah, they have them everywhere. They're placed throughout all the corporations around the world.
And that's what we've covered here, is that as individuals leave the IDF and other institutes,
they just keep working for them.
They keep working and go right into the veins of the private tech
and we know for a fact that there are American evangelical churches who are hosting IDF soldiers from the intelligence division of the Israeli army. We have one right here in Vero Beach. There's a big Rapture Zionist church here in Vero Beach, and they have an IDF intelligence officer living with the pastor, and I think with his girlfriend lives there also.
That's correct.
And it's an exchange program. It's an exchange. It's kind of like a friends program. The churches here in Vero Beach, they want to show the Israelis that they love them and support them, so they're hosting an Israeli army intelligence officer living here in Vero Beach. They're stationed everywhere.
Yes. I think the most shocking part of the research that I found, Rick, is that This end of the Israeli army, its goal was never actually simply to be for protecting Israel. This was an offensive tool that they've invested the entire treasures of the kingdom in.
Zionism is going global. And as I told the Palestinian leaders the night that we had dinner with a distinguished group of Palestinian leaders, and they were talking about the occupation. And I said, the occupation is going global.
Yes, they actually got to test a lot of these procedures.
Surveillance.
Who do you think they let's say, perfected these technologies over? It was the Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza that helped refine this technology.
There's something going on. I'm noticing a militant advance of Zionism in recent months. We're seeing it, you know, the anti-BDS bills. Governor DeSantis here in Florida, the state legislator who's introduced a bill, and now today the World Council Church has said we're getting our observers out of Hebron because it's become too dangerous for them, because Jewish militants are now attacking the church observers who are there, who are trying to make sure that there's peace between the Israelis and the Palestinians. In recent weeks, there have been a lot of Jewish militants in the West Bank attacking Palestinians.
Yes, so specifically a place believed near Ramallah. Near Ramallah, yes. There was a shooting that occurred.
And Israeli soldiers stood by and watched the Jewish settlers shoot the Palestinians, and nothing was.
Jewish settlers are the ones that shot, not the IDF.
I'm telling you, I just have this feeling.
They're being emboldened.
Yes, there's something going on in the spirit, man. They are saying, this is our hour. We're going to make a move. That's why Benjamin Netanyahu is so cocky and arrogant. All right, they're making their move now. They're globalizing. They're globalizing Zionism, and they know that technology is the way for Zionism to rule the world. They had to do it prior to technology. They had to do it the old-fashioned way, all right? Human intel. That's the old-fashioned way. They had to infiltrate, all right? Technology allows them to rapidly expand around the world.
And that's what we saw. We played the quote previously of the former head of Unit 8200, Israel's NSA, saying that we can create bots, robots, yes, online, artificial intelligent bots that can become the police, they can become the soldiers for this future push to become the controllers, the guardians of the World Wide Web.
That's where we're at. Anything else before we wrap it up?
Well, just to go into a little bit more about Talpiot, just shortly, the program actually was built after, was a program actually by Xerox in 1970. It's called the Palo Alto Research Center. So the founders of Talpiot, they studied this center that was made to basically create advanced technology to solve problems, to meet future challenges. What Talpiot said is we need to take this model. And what they've done is their mission isn't simply, again, to educate or to prepare IDF soldiers for exit out of the military. It's to keep the top edge of the IDF on the cutting edge of technology, keeping them ahead of even countries like America and China, Russia. Now, this group isn't just for thinking. They have individuals that know how to fly jets. They're I'd say the Rhodes Scholars of Israel. These are the best and brightest. They actually are behind the Iron Dome system. Think about the missile defense system that Israel has been using to defend themselves, but also exporting to countries like Saudi Arabia. They're behind that technology. That's who Talpiot is. They produced it for Israel. Now, the other thing with Talpiot, lastly, is that the whole system of Talpiot relies on a deep recruiting pool, both in the United States and outside. There are individuals who actually go back to Israel to serve in their military. They may find themselves, like American citizens, dual citizens, that find themselves in the Israeli military serving now in what is a spy agency. They're a spy agency that doesn't call themselves a spy agency. They call themselves a think tank. But that's just not true. What they are doing is absolutely the work of a spy agency.
Well, just think of how many dual citizens are in Washington.
That's right.
In the White House, in State Department, in the Pentagon, not just with the Trump administration, but with the Obama administration, the Bush administration. This has been going on for decades, where they have Israeli Americans with dual citizenship, passports in both countries.
Former heads of banking, central banking.
Like Stanley Fischer. He went from governor of the Bank of Israel to to vice chairman of the U.S. Federal Reserve.
How does one do that?
And nobody said a word about it. Like a revolving door from country to country. And so they're embedded in many agencies in the United States, in congressional offices, in a lot of top corporations. Where is their loyalty? Is it to the United States or is it to Israel? Because if you have a religious zeal, you're going to say my real loyalty is to Zionism.
Yes.
And that just opens up a can of worms of how our country is being manipulated and used and drained, just being drained out, bled out, and being used.